All right, cool.
All right. So this is Nate Sabat,
Hello.
a bass player who is now based in New York, but you were just based in Boston, right?
Yeah, for 7 years I was in Boston.
So how long have you been playing music?
So I've been playing music since I was, I think I was like 9 years old. There's a piano teacher in my neighborhood that my mom had set me up with.
Okay.
So I was like doing piano like any kid would, but I wasn't very into it.
Yeah.
I was a little bit frustrated about like you had to play with the correct fingerings and like
Yeah.
I did like the playing music part. It was just I was a little frustrated with like the rigidity of it, I guess.
Yeah.
So I fell off that. There was a period of time in between that and when I started singing choral music, which was like my next thing. Along with doing the Manhattan School of Music, I had like a free summer program.
Okay.
So I did musical theater there one summer, and then the next fall I started at the Young People's Chorus in New York City.
Okay.
And did choral music like all the way through high school. So that was that was the real start. I feel like when I was like 12 years old.
So then when did you start playing bass?
Started playing bass when I was probably 13. Electric bass first.
Okay.
And then upright when I was 15. So, and yeah, played a whole bunch of different types of music. Yeah.
So you grew up in New York City?
Yeah, I grew up on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Yeah, like my parents are still in the same apartment I grew up in and everything.
So did you play bluegrass at all when you were younger here?
No, I was like completely not involved with the bluegrass scene. I was like doing like I said, mostly choral music around the city, and then I also played in a rock band. Yeah, like so that was the kind of stuff. Yeah, it was exciting.
Yeah,
it was exciting, but it was a very different scene.
So how were you introduced to bluegrass?
Mm-hmm.
Or when?
Yeah, I think I kind of got interested in it later on in high school. I started playing upright bass already.
Right.
And like, believe it or not, that song "Wagon Wheel" was the thing that
really?
That's what did it. But like, those songs have their place, They're like they bring people into the music. So I was at a jam out on Long Island with a bunch of people, like older guys, whatever, and they were playing "Wagon Wheel," and like it caught my attention. And then that's how I found Old Crow Medicine Show album.
Yeah.
That had it on there and everything. Listening back, that's actually a good album. So from that Old Crow Medicine Show album is when I started getting into the more deep and like legit bluegrass stuff. I went to the Berklee College of Music summer program in between junior and senior year of high school.
Okay.
And was really fortunate enough to work with John McGann.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with the name or
Yeah.
if you had met him at some point, but so it was his last summer teaching the bluegrass ensemble before he passed away. And I got a big music collection from another friend of mine who was in that ensemble, who actually lives in New York now as well. He's a firefighter. But he sent me a bunch of Flat and Scruggs, and there's this one particular album, what was it called? It was Top of the Hill Bluegrass. It was all the Sugar Hill compilation stuff. So yeah, really from when I was like 17 is when I got into it.
Okay.
Yeah, so much later on.
So why did you decide to move back to New York? Is there
That's a really good question, yeah. A whole bunch of different stuff. Yeah, I guess for me it kind of feels like I'm going back in time and going forward in time at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
Like coming back and like being around my family and friends. Like I just saw a childhood friend last week for the first time in many years, but then also having this music community and this music scene to be part of. I feel like it's just like it's one of the best places on earth for like a wide variety of music.
For sure.
And people performing it at really high levels. So I think it's just the right place for me to be for my career. And like I kind of was thinking recently about the thing that defines me most as a musician, and probably like the thing that defines me is like the breadth of experience I've had in various types of music.
Yeah.
Like and bluegrass right now feels like my home base, but there's just so much else I want to explore, and New York's just a great place to do it.
Yeah. You can go out any night and see whatever.
See whatever you want. Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of why I'm here in the career sense.
Yeah.
But then also just the culture and the energy, all of it is what I was looking for.
It's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've been playing bluegrass for a while then.
Yeah, it's been let's see, I was 17. Yeah, 8 years.
Okay.
Really 8 years.
So how have you seen the bluegrass scene evolve in that time, or have you seen it evolve?
Yeah, I think there's just, I think it definitely has evolved. There's a lot. I think it's generally becoming more open-minded, more accepting of various people, various sounds. And I think it's just like a lot of people who are like-minded, like myself, are becoming more interested in the music. People who have a wider breadth of experience and who are like shaping the music in different ways. And it's not like it started 8 years ago and is at its peak now, but it's like I've seen the trajectory continue in that direction into just a more progressive, open-minded type of music. Especially I think the IBMA has a lot to do with that. They're promoting that kind of thing now, which is good. But there's also a lot of division in the genre.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are more conservative, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Just like, it's kind of like shows what it's like similar to what the country's like now too. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you're a part of a band who tours at a lot of festivals.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Would you say that the festivals have a big part in how the bluegrass scene progresses, as like how the music changes and how people change? Yeah,
I think certain festivals definitely have a lot of pull in that direction. Like a festival like Freshgrass is a really good example.
Yeah.
In Massachusetts, I think I was at the first or maybe the second one in 2012, and I've been to a bunch since then. And they're like a great example of a festival who definitely are big on the bluegrass and beyond thing. A lot of their acts are like totally far removed from like any sort of a bluegrass sound, but they still bill as a bluegrass festival and have bluegrass acts and instrument competitions and band competitions. But festivals like that do a good job of like promoting the genre while also including other stuff. So I like being at festivals like that. And Grey Fox has done a good job of that too.
Yeah.
Ossipee Valley String Camp and Festival has done a good job of that in Maine. So, and there's other ones around the country that are hardly strictly bluegrass.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of ones that are much more conservative as well. And like I said, it kind of reflects the people. Just like there's a mixture of festivals but I think you have seen festivals pop up recently that are pushing the genre forward more.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So in New York especially, I've noticed that at the jams, there are always a lot of younger folks.
Yeah.
I guess if you were to go to a different part of the country, maybe most of the jammers would be like 50 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's a reason why there are so many younger musicians playing in New York?
I think it's probably like, I get the, we have a little dog joining us now. That's Levy. There's a definite, I think there's a definite progression from like the music schools to the New York and the Nashville scenes. Like schools like New England Conservatory and Berklee College of Music. Like there's a lot of grads from those schools who come either to the New York scene or to the Nashville scene as kind of the next move. If you look at people like Alex Hargraves, Duncan Wickel, Jake Jolliffe.
Yeah.
Mike Robinson went to the New School here in New York.
Yeah.
Some New School people as well are getting more into the music, more New York-based people. I think the music schools have a lot to do with it. And like fiddle camps, around the country. I like a lot of those people like grew up going to fiddle camps. People I think New York attracts people who have a wide breadth of musical interests. And you tend to see that among the younger people playing bluegrass. I think music schools and the the camps have a lot to do with it. Yeah.
So I'm very sorry about this next question.
No, go for it. What?
If you could describe bluegrass in one word or phrase, what would it be?
That's hilarious. Nice. Let's see. Oh, that's actually pretty hard.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's cool. One word or phrase.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably authentic.
Okay.
That's a good word. No matter if you're playing like traditional bluegrass or like the more progressive stuff, like there's a certain amount of authenticity to the music that you can't really like fake it, you know, and it's like listening to bluegrass and being like, that's legit. Whether it's like you know, the Grant Gordy album, or it's
Yeah.
like, you know, or it's like Flat and Scruggs, you know, whatever. It's like, it has a certain degree of authenticity. Like, people really know the context and the history and the vocabulary and the style, yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good word to describe it.
So you said you lived in Boston for 7 years.
Yeah.
And you were playing bluegrass while you were there.
Yeah, that was like my peak, you know, or like so far has been my like peak of interest in the genre.
Yeah.
Like, it all kind of really happened in Boston so far. Like, even the Berklee 5-week program with John McGann, that was in Boston. And then my senior year of high school, I was really into it and like into the Punch Brothers and stuff, but didn't get a chance to play a whole lot, you know, bluegrass. And then when I got to Boston, I was really wanted to get involved in the American Roots Music program at Berklee. Like, kind of dove in head first there and like started playing gigs around town, and just like it became kind of like my day-to-day life in Boston, and that's where Mile 12 started. So that's like, I feel like I'm kind of bringing all of that here for the first time, you know, like coming to Mona's and everything. It wasn't a regular thing at all at any point for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, Boston was kind of like the place where it all started.
Do you see any differences between the Boston scene and the New York scene?
Yeah, definitely. I think the Boston scene is just so collegiate, you know? It's so like, most people there are in school or a couple years out of school, really like growing and defining their sound as a player, and like everyone's in the really early stages of their career. And New York has a bit more of a professional level. You know, people who are maybe like 5 to 10 years out of college, you know, and who have been touring for a number of years and really have like their feet planted on the ground. So I think it's just a bit more of an older scene, a bit more of an experienced scene, but a lot of people have ties to Boston, you know, just like they've kind of grown out of that scene, I guess, you know. Yeah, that's how I'd say the differences are, but they're deeply connected, you know, in aesthetic and in like work ethic, I'd say.
Do you have any standout experiences in this scene?
In the New York scene?
In the New York scene and the music scene.
Music scene in general. Yeah, I mean, music scene in general, I guess, more so. But I've had, like, IBMA is just an amazing place, and like for jamming and stuff. I've had a couple of really stellar jams there over the years.
Yeah.
That's in Raleigh, North Carolina. But there's a lot of people who come down from New York and Boston. Nothing really to speak of so far yet. That night you saw me last week was kind of my first night going out as a New York resident. I've just been really busy. Like, you guys said, I was back in the beginning of, the end of May, but just been a lot of touring, a lot of traveling, and haven't had a chance to really dig in yet. So hopefully stuff will start happening, you know. But also I played the jam at what's that place in Bushwick, Clara's?
Yeah.
You heard of that jam? Yeah. But I played that jam in June. Like, so yeah, stuff's like little things are happening, but hopefully more in the future.
So what would you say draws you to bluegrass now and keeps you playing it?
It's a really good point, or a good question, that is. I think, the music community is really strong around the music. People are very friendly and supportive, and like kind of care about each other in a way that isn't necessarily the case in other styles of music.
Yeah.
I feel like I just know a lot of people now in it, and like feel very comfortable around people in it. Also, my band is very involved in the scene, so I think that like that's a big one. I like, even if I don't go out and do it casually, like when we're playing a festival or a show or at a conference, like I'll be around that culture. So I don't think I necessarily see myself in bluegrass specifically for my entire career.
Yeah.
But right now it's a big part of it, and I think that between the community and the fact that my band is heavily involved, it's kind of like I'm here for now, for sure. You know.
So you were saying how some festivals like Fresh Grass and some other ones now are like pushing the limits as to bluegrass.
Yeah.
How would you say they're pushing it? Like.
Right.
Because traditionally bluegrass is like, you look at Bill Monroe and it's like very traditional and very straight. How would you say it's changing now, and how the festivals, different bands change it?
Yeah, I think they're just hiring people like, you know, I don't think it's necessarily like progressive bluegrass. You know, it's like maybe it's a bit more on like the fringe genres, or like the Americana or folk, or like folk music from other places. You know, it's I think they're just broadening the like a bluegrass listener's palette with other acts. You know, like I think of like someone like Eva Donovan or something like that. Cricket Still, you know, like her band, and bands like that, I guess, are kind of like towing the line. But I think it's more like I guess the billing is kind of more what I'm talking about, like in the sense that those festivals are bringing in like acts that are like the Wood Brothers had played at Ossipee and stuff like that, and Gray Fox. Like, so this idea of like the bluegrass festival incorporating other acts and other styles of music. Well, it's really like the artists they're getting is what I feel like is broadening the scope. Yeah. You know.
Sorry to change.
No, go ahead.
Again, but so in New York there seems to be like a really strong scene here. Mm-hmm. And I know you said you've gone to a few jams.
Yeah.
Why do you think there's such a strong scene here? How do you think it's able to like thrive here?
Yeah, I think it's like the fact that there's so many other styles of music and art that's happening around the city that it's just it makes sense to have a strong bluegrass scene. It's like the most major city in the country, and there's so much else happening that like having a strong bluegrass scene makes a lot of sense. Also historically, you know, because of the Washington Square Park Jam back in the day, and
they just had their reunion jam yesterday, I think.
Oh, nice, that's cool. So there's been a history of especially a folk revival, you know, more the folk music side of things, but bluegrass as well. So it's been a part of the culture in New York, you know, for over like half a century now. And so there's kind of like, there's been a space for it to thrive, you know, since then. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think it just makes a lot of sense. And, yeah, a lot of great players are drawn here just because of the access to other things happening and the lifestyle. So I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're in a really cool band called Mile 12.
Yes, thank you for saying we're really cool.
I think you're cool.
Okay.
How did that start?
Yes. That band started at a jam that's somewhat similar to the Mona's Jam, but it's at the Cantab Lounge. I'm sure you've heard the name. Yes. So every Tuesday night there's a bluegrass jam at this bar in Cambridge near Boston, and we kind of all were going to that jam and met there, as well as spending time at like various house parties around Boston, which there were a lot of at the time. And actually, the fiddle player Bronwyn and the banjo player BB and I were in a band before that with Mike Robinson, actually, called Blue Hat Yeah.
That's a great name.
Yeah, it was exactly. Well, you're the only one who gets the reference, you know, John Hartford reference. And we would play. We played it like for one summer. We were playing shows. It was Maddie Whitler was in the band too. Okay. But then the three of us were kind of like, oh, like, you know, Mike's in New York and Maddie's really busy with Lonely Heartstring Band. Like, we need to start our own thing. Yeah. You know, and that's kind of the birth of the band. That was when we were like looking for a lead singer and a front man, and we were like, let's get Evan to join the band. And then we were just a four-piece for like a year and a half. Okay. Before asking David to join on mandolin. So, but it came out of like that community in Boston, the Cantab Lounge, Berkeley house party community of people and players. And now we're kind of we're cruising along to an extent and living in different places. Yeah, so that's really cool. Able to do that now.
Yeah, you guys are playing at Jalopy soon, right?
We are. Yeah, we're going to be Jalopy 25th.
Nice.
25th of October. So
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think last time I saw you play at Jalopy, you said you were working on some new music.
Yes, we probably were. We were probably mixing our album at that point. We had an album called City on a Hill. It got released at the end of March, and we'll have copies of that at the show. And it's our second full-length album, and we all feel really proud about it. Yeah. It feels like there's actually kind of like a cohesive concept behind the album of kind of looking at different people and places that are struggling. Yeah. You know, in various ways. Each song kind of touches on that to an extent. Yeah. And we're just happy to be playing it and showing people what we came up with. So nice. Yeah, we'll be doing a lot of that at Jalopy.
And I think you also have like a solo
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I have a solo EP
Yeah.
that I released at the end of November last year.
Yeah.
And it's with a full rock band.
Cool.
Issa Burke from Lulu Wiles, Stash, Y Slouch, Sean Trishka on drums, bunch of other people on there. I'm actually playing in Rockwood doing that music.
Nice.
But yeah, so I'm doing that. But yeah, right now that feels like a bit more of a on the back burner. I'll see what happens with that one, with that project. But yeah, I'm proud of what I came up with.
So this is, I think, my last question, and kind of a weird one.
Go for it.
But if you weren't playing the bass, do you think that you would still be like playing another instrument in the bluegrass scene, or do you think you wouldn't?
I probably wouldn't have really had the access, honestly, unless I was like a guitar player or something.
Yeah.
Just because I was playing the bass with other styles of music beforehand, and it's so transferable. But if I was like a pianist, or like a trumpet player, or like a cello, I mean maybe cello, you know, you could kind of get into it. But like I think from the scene I was coming from the other music scenes, like there are plenty of people who I know who play instruments that don't really kind of fit in the genre. So I may not have, you know, I may not have been introduced to it, but I'm glad I was. I'm glad I play the bass. Bass is so transferable for so many different styles of music, you know, it's helpful.
That is very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Well, thank you very much for
totally. Oh yeah, my pleasure, and good luck with this. This is like. Nice.